So generally, Once Upon a Time stories come in groups of three, but I was too impatient to wait for the third one. So if a third story comes and it's really good, it'll get its own video. But two really cool stories have dropped for season 7, and we're about a month away from 7's premiere. And I wanted to discuss what we've got. We've got news on Tiana, more news on Tiana, and we got more news on Emma. And I think a lot of you, myself included in that, are really curious as to what's going to be happening with Emma and Captain Hook, because I think of all the characters or all the pairings together, most of us are vested in Captain Hook and Emma's story, even if you ship them, or if you don't ship them, I should say, because you want to know what's going to happen with them, because Jennifer Morrison is not starring this season, and she's only in one episode. The article, it's from Entertainment Weekly, there's a link to it in the description. They really have only highlighted that she's only in one episode, which gives me pause, because why on earth would you put her in only one episode? Now, maybe they have hidden footage for the finale already done, which would be awesome, because I think you really need Jennifer Morrison to come back for a real wowza finale, I should say. But we are going to discuss Tiana first. So we have a photo of Tiana meeting, well, you clearly can tell the man on the right is Captain Hook. I'm assuming that hidden behind the woman in the brown dress is Andrew J. West, and then I would assume the woman in the brown dress is Lana Parrilla. But she's Tiana and Cinderella, I almost called her Diana, are meeting the three main characters for possibly the first time. From the way the photo is set up, maybe they're meeting Tiana for the first time, because I imagine that Andrew J. West already knows who Cinderella is. So the quote from Entertainment Weekly is, "When we meet Tiana, the fairy tale realm is in turmoil." So, I'm curious if there's a second villain this season beyond Lady Tremaine, because Lady Tremaine is only so villainous because she doesn't have magic unless the showrunners give her magic, but I don't think she's going to have magical powers. So I'm assuming that someone with great power is causing a lot of chaos for Tiana. She's a princess with a mission to restore freedom to her people. And then apparently Robin Givens' Eudora is going to be a benevolent noblewoman now facing financial disaster, which is interesting because they said they were going to stick close to the source material for this film, being Princess, or this episode or series for Tiana being Princess and the Frog. I'm going to rephrase what I just said. What I've seen from the creators of Once Upon a Time for season 7 with Princess and the Frog being brought into the show, they said they were going to stick pretty close to the movie, but it appears that's not 100% true because, well, for one thing, Tiana's mom was never a noblewoman. She was a commoner. She's just a regular person from the United States, and the same thing essentially applied with Tiana. Now, Tiana did become a princess, but Naveen was sort of disinherited, so I don't really know, how the movie canon worked with its politics and whatnot. But Once Upon a Time obviously could make Naveen inherit his throne. So clearly, there's a major problem with Tiana's land, and she's clearly best buddies with Cinderella, which it would explain why she's Cinderella's roommate in Hyperion Heights. Lady Tremaine just couldn't separate best friendship. So Mika Cox and Diana Ramirez look really, really cool in their warrior princess outfits. It's very similar to that of Snow White, it reminds me of. I like them a lot. And I kind of like just her look that she's given to, I would imagine it's Talana. I think it's Talana. Or to whomever she's staring at, it's a pretty intensive, powerful look. Diana's just kind of like, yep, this is my bestie. She's going to kick your ass. Watch out. And I like it. So we meet her in a land of turmoil. I'm really curious to see how, Tiana's episode is going to play out. She is coming in for episode 3. That will be her first episode, which makes sense to not go right into the brand new characters right away because you still have a lot of loose ends to fill up with episode 1 and 2. And speaking of 2, A Pirate's Life, now we get to talk about Jennifer Morrison. And there are some really dramatic photos. So we have a couple quotes from Adam Horowitz and Eddie Kitsis in regards to A Pirate's Life. We will be getting closure on her story in a way we feel is satisfying. I hope it is satisfying because Adam Horowitz and Eddie Kitsis, they're good writers. They're very imaginative. But sometimes, I think we all have seen, we get so attached to the characters in the beginning because it's so good, and then they're like, we can do whatever we want. And I think what they think is good isn't what the audience thinks is good. So I'm curious as to how emotional and how much closure we're going to be getting. I have a feeling this is going to be a very emotional episode for Captain Swan fans. I mean, just from the 2 photos I have up alone. I mean, one of them when she's holding his hook, by the way, adorable, but she looks so scared. She looks so scared. So to continue, what we're not doing is a flashback story where we're seeing stuff prior to or during the previous 6 seasons. We're moving forward past the end of season 6, seeing what happened with Emma and Hook and how it relates to the events in Hyperion Heights. It's an emotional curtain call. From the stills alone, it seems pretty emotional, particularly the still where she's holding an older Henry, played by Andrew J. West. She's clearly about to part ways with him. Somehow she made it into the Enchanted Forest version 2. Clearly Hook did as well. I like that it's wrapped together, but there's a lot of questions now to be asked, like, why did she leave? Where is she going? Maybe she is going to give Henry her powers, and, you know, because she gives her powers, she can't be there. But then why would Hook be separated? I don't know. I mean, there's way too many theories. So I'm actually really curious, and I posed the question for the comments for discussion. What do you think happens to Emma that drives Hook and her apart? And how do you think Henry aged so quickly? Because Hook and Emma look the exact same. And you would think they get a little bit older. Maybe they could have graded Hook's hair up just a little bit. But however they do it, I'm sure it'll be good. I'm just curious how they're going to approach the time jumps and whatnot. So either way, I like the photos we got. I'm really curious to see Tiana in her introduction episode. I think it's going to be really, really fun. Tiana's the character I want to see the most. I think she has the most amount of potential this season because she's new. Diana Ramirez as Cinderella, I'm really not into because I don't like the idea of multiple versions of different characters in a show such as Once Upon a Time. It's just not a comic book show. It's a fairy tale show. I've talked about this many, many times, but I can't wait to see Cinderella, Princess of Rock, not Cinderella. And when it comes to Emma and Hook's separation, I'm really curious to see it as well because it looks like it's going to be quite the episode. So anyway, thank you for watching my video. Share your thoughts about these photos in the comments below. I'm really curious what you guys have to say. I like these photos. I think they're really, really nice, and I'm really looking forward to both episode 2 and episode 3, and of course, the pilot of season 7, Hyperion. I believe it's titled Hyperion Heights. Yes, it is. I'm looking forward to episode 1 as well, which is coming up real soon. So hopefully we will get some more spoilers or another promo, which would be really cool. And I'll make sure to cover that as well. So thank you for watching, and we'll talk real soon. All right, guys. Bye.